Hey, what's up? Don't mind the noise in the background there. It's just cars and trucks going by. Maybe they're deliveries late at night. Why, I don't know. Well, of course I know, but when you're trying to make a vlog like I'm doing right now, it kind of distracts you a little bit. I want to talk about a subject, that I posted on my channel about a couple months back, but I had to take down because I knew what the outcry was going to be like. It was a video I did on Vince Neil. I'm talking about the way he has trouble singing now, the way he's ballooned up to how many pounds, and one or two people started condemning me for doing that. Said, don't pick on Vince Neil. He still sounds good. It's Vince Neil rocks, Fuck you. One even suggested, well, maybe you should get off the meth and learn how to speak right before you condemn others on how they sing or talk. Well, let me say to those people, fuck you. I don't do meth. I don't do drugs. You fucking know that. Like I said to a couple other people, I inherited my father's body frame and facial features. Thank you very much. Also, I'm part Cherokee. Thank you very much for that as well. Now, we've heard most of the clips of Vince Neil blurting out words instead of the actual words to some of the songs like Dr. Feelgood, Kickstart My Heart. Those are the only ones we know so far. We have yet to hear anything when he tries to do either Looks That Kill or Without You. We have yet to hear that, but just those two clips. Just those two songs. Have we heard him? Vince Neil, like I said, is going, hey, mom, while trying to sing. I know a program that I listened to called The Classic Metal Show touched on this subject a couple times. Shout out to those guys for bringing this subject up originally. He also described how Vince Neil looks nowadays. I mean, let's face it, he has ballooned a lot throughout a couple years. And then, now, I look at I go through Facebook, and I look for some people to add online that I used to hang out at the Ritz, New York, Harpo's Concert Theater, back in Michigan. Bands who used to play in bands like Sweet Teas. And I noticed that a couple of the members of that band, don't look the same as they used to. A couple of them get corporate jobs, and they have families. They cut their hair. And a couple of those guys, they have gained weight throughout the years. They don't look the same as they used to. Now, for the one side of me, this is like a shock, because we often expect that person to be the same, to look the same, to not age. But the other side of me says, hey, when you grow old, your body does indeed change, irregardless. I mean, when you think about it, you do gain a little weight. You do lose some of your hair. I still got mine, thank goodness. Now, a friend of mine named Mary, who lives back in Michigan, she posted something on her Facebook saying, you know, I wish people would not condemn Vince Neil for the way he sings or the way he looks. You know, the man's probably has some sort of health issues and that, you know, which in a way kind of makes sense when you think about it. A friend of mine named Lori, who I used to see the band Seduce play multiple times, she often complained about her thyroid problems. She said she often gained the weight a little bit because of that. That's probably what Vince Neil has. Who knows? We have yet to get the official word from Neil himself on what kind of issues he's having health-wise. So we don't know. As I mentioned, you know, you get issues with your weight, thyroid, you know, you have issues with your health because, I don't know if it's the drugs or something you catch later on in life out of the blue. Whether it's a blood condition or whichever, you know. Let me give you one perception of why we often do complain. Starting with Axl Rose. We notice he doesn't look, he's not exactly fit and trim like he used to. He has a little bit of a gut on him, as we noticed. We've seen that on the his stint with the Guns N' Roses Relapse tour and his stints with AC/DC. He has ballooned himself. He does have a little gut sticking out there, so that's pretty much, you know. But then again, he's in his 50s, later 50s. But yet, people often talk about the fact that this man had gained a lot of weight. And remember, there were a lot of memes on Google saying, you know, with him is sticking his tongue out, going, with his headband, long hair and stuff, you know. But yet he looks a lot more like a heavy metal version of Benny Hill, basically. I think the people who do that, you know, people who complain about this person looking flabby or this person looking fat, I think it's because we have the memories of how that person, that singer or actor used to look like stuck in our heads throughout the years. We see him in the shows, we see him in concert, we see him in the videos, they're fit, they're trim. That's the image we remember throughout the years. And when we see them again ages later, looking different, a little bit of weight, you know, having to have his bandmates detune their instruments to match his voice because his voice ain't what it used to be. He can't hit those high notes anymore. It kind of like it shocks us, because we expect that person to be the same as they were ages ago. Once again, public perception. You're expected to be this, expected to be that. Now, I also got to bring this up here, you know, because this subject also pertains to movie stars, especially female actresses. Oftentimes, you know, we get these people, you know, telling these actresses, you know, you gotta be thin, you must keep the same body frame if you want this movie role. If you want to have the guys as are you must be thin, you must be gorgeous looking, you gotta have tons of makeup, you know. If they come out looking a little bit of weight, gaining a little bit of weight, that's not acceptable. remember a couple years back reading a magazine about the magazine interviewed a female and a male model. They do modeling for clothing stores, magazines, and such. And the male model came up with something, you know, that kind of like hits the nail on the head. If the male model in particular does not look a certain way, or if it doesn't look the way he's supposed to be, the agent or the person, or magazine, or whichever they're working with, will be very upset, gets verbally abusive, and sends the guy home. No work. And it's going to be, and I know it's going to be tougher for the female models out there, because, like I said, public perception. You're expected to be this. You're expected to be that, you know. We remember the old images of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was at his height. All the movies like Predator, Commando, The Terminator 1 and 2. We expect him to be this beefed up, muscular muscle man, and now in the 70s we notice there's a little bit of flab on him, you know, around his upper chest and lower chest areas, you know, especially in his arms as well. This motherfucking bug up here trying to fly. I'm gonna squish that bitch later. I guess when people change their appearances and all that stuff, it pisses them off. We want to keep that image in our mind. We want to keep that wholesome image of that person and how they used to look. That's the person we want to remember, not the individual that we got now. I don't accept this, you know. Sad but true. And, but I will say this. Probably the people who still have that perception in their minds probably don't look the same as they used to either. Let's say a man who's in love with, let's say, let me throw out this name here, Olivia Newton-John. You ever remember her from her physical years when that song was all over the radio? Guy used to be in love with her. They see her now, you know, she's in her 60s. She still looks good, you know, but probably the guy that idolized her back then, he doesn't look the same. He probably gained a lot of weight, you know. Most likely some of the women who still desire Sean Cassidy like they used to, they probably gained some weight as well. You know, nobody stays the same, you know. I guess public perception is a bitch. Keeping up an image is a bitch, you know. And I guess some people figure, you know, fuck it. Nothing I can do, just let it happen, you know. So I wanted to say about that, you know. I'm Dr. Earl. Thank you for watching. I'm going to head home right now. It's about, it's a little after 2 a.m. Don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Got that tomorrow off, so, or today off, I should say. You guys have a good one. I'm Dr. Earl. What am I talking about? Fuck! Subscribe to my channel. Comment if you like to. Hit that like button. See you cats later.